Well folks, welcome back to the Power Tool Workshop, where we fix up power tools. Today we're going to have another long video for you. We're going to see what sort of machines we can get through here today. And we're going to start off with this here little Makita, or should I say copy. This here ain't a Makita at all. Surprised these things actually are still going around, you still see them. These are a wee cheap and cheerful copy, very Chinese make SDS drill. They come in all different brands, but they're all the one machine. Sometimes you get them like this, with fake Makita badges put on them to make it look like a Makita machine. But they're not. They're just a wee cheap and cheerful. Even have another fake badge in the back. Look, you can tell by this badge. They're just called an 1.5" hammer drill, 1000 watts. No other information. These are just stuck on by somebody else to try and fob them off as a Makita. No serial number, no brand, no nothing. They're just made in China. These are about 10 or 15 years old, I'd say now. Made in China with nothing on them. You know rightly, when there's no serial number, they're not going to be that great. Good wee machine, don't get me wrong. I'm buying them without the Makita badge. They're probably only costing less than €100. They were dirt cheap, and they were powerful enough wee machines. They actually did a good enough job, but you can't fix them. This wee Makita one, this badge, 6914D. Even a fake badge with a fake number. That model is actually an old Makita 12-volt cordless impact driver, so they'll even get the right, anything even close to the right number for an SDS drill. There's a total copy, total fake, but we're going to see if we can fix it anyway. Now, like I say, you can't get any parts for this thing. Even the actual lever at the back of here is missing. Don't know if that's going to make a difference or not, but it says it's just not switching on. Doing nothing. We're going to see if we can just do this maybe cheap and cheerful fix. Basically, it was a lead or a set of brushes, but you can't get anything else for these. This lever and the mechanism, not a hope of getting anything. No parts available. We'll see if we can fix it just for cheap, because it might be a copy, but people at home actually did an alright job. We're only going to look at the things we can fix though. Starting with the lead. There we go. Nice simple one. It's just a lead. So a chance fixing this. Normally I would just cut the lead maybe and stick it back on again. It's even wired in differently, look. Other way around. Normally you would at least try and match up the colours, but it doesn't really matter. It's only an SDS drill. Doesn't matter if you've reversed the polarity, you'll just cause the motor to spin the opposite way. And when it's an SDS drill, it's not really going to matter all that much. But then again, this thing does have boring function. It's just drilling. So maybe it would matter. If I change that round, it might start boring the other direction, so we'll just put it back in the way it came out. Don't even know if it works, mind you, but just in case, we'll put it in the same way again. I would just sometimes cut these and rejoint them, especially on a cheap machine like this, but there's a very small short lead. If I cut it anymore, there's going to be nothing left of it. We just go with a full 4 meters of cable. 4 meters is what you normally fit, but cheaper machines like this, sometimes people want less. Just to keep it cheaper, but it's not worth it for me, because if this ain't, if this doesn't fix it and it's still bad and it's not worth fixing, I'll never use a shorter lead again, so it's just throwing money away for me. So I always just fit the 4 meters anyway. That way, if it doesn't work, I can still salvage the cable. As well, this grommet is a good thick one, so it can tick. This heavier cable, this is a wee bit heavier than the last one. I reused the plug too. Actually an alright one. Good quality plug on a cheap machine. Well, there's why it wasn't working. It's broken on here. Could have kept that lead. Oh well, too late now. The price of a cable, I don't think he'll complain. It's an awkward one. Those on separate maybe. No, it's still tight anyway. Shove it on and then take this back through. Make sure you're lining it up. Now, see if it was worth the trouble. We're using it as a chipping hammer. Sure, it'll be alright. That's her. Sounds terrible. Then again, it's only a cheap machine. And it's only an €8 lead, so it'll be worth just the cable to keep this man up and running. Obviously he's not a professional tradesman, he's just a DIYer. I'd rather have this than nothing. Now this one should be a nice simple one because the customer says it only needs a belt. So I'll stick in a new drive belt and get this up and running. This is the Milwaukee, this is the brushed planer ticket. The M18 BP. Yeah, brushed. And belts fail often enough. They're not hard to replace. Well, it's definitely a belt anyway. Snapped it in half. Only needs a belt, he says. Needs a bit more than a belt. That needs bearings. That's probably why it broke the belt. Yeah, there's one of them completely collapsed. That's a stuff. And that's no better. And a wee bit more work needed to this thing. These normally come out easy, but sometimes they can be difficult. Let's see which way this one is. Yeah, easy enough. Right, aluminium block with your drum assembly and your motor assembly all up in here. Same as most. These are actually built a little bit like a brushless motor. Some of the older models will have brushes. You can replace on this side, but this just comes out as one piece. Nothing wrong with that. And you just want to change the bearings. There's a different brush holder, mind you. Just lift these springs up. Brush is about halfway worn in this thing, but we'll not bother changing them. Let them run on till they're actually worn out. If it was the same brush holder, I would change it, but I haven't got that one. Never had to change one of these brush holders before, because generally they don't last that long. It's neat to be changed. Oh, this one actually has PH screws, Phillips. Them holding this field on to the armature. Just make sure that the brush spring is pulled up so that this can actually come off. It should be tight. And a good magnet. That definitely has. Good strong neodymium magnets and that. So there's the problems. That one's gone. That one's totally gone. And that one's not good. The needle bearing's not gone on there, but a little bit of grease in that would help it no end. So these have to come off first. These will be a left and a right hand thread. We'll just clamp them and screw off the drum on that. Get these out. Now they don't make them too easy to remove. They're quite tight. A little bit of heat generally helps. Not much. Just something to soften the Loctite inside. They don't need to be on this tight at all. Well, these are a left and a right hand thread. These will be self-tightening anyway. They don't need to be locked on. I think they just put them on this tight to make changing these bearings just that little bit harder. Blades have seen better days, but they're not actually smashed up, or they're chipped. This man will have loads of planers. There's no reason to change them just yet, unless he'd asked for it. The same with this one, just be careful of the plastic fan, you don't melt that. Yeah, right and the left. I mean, just lock them into red Loctite they've on it. It's good to secure it, but there's really no need for it at all. They can't unscrew because they're left and right whenever this drives. It's just tighten this one and tighten this one as well. If they were the same thread, one would slacken off the other. But when they're left and right, they're actually tightening each other. So that is just overkill. It makes an absolute pain to change the bearings. So there's only actually 3 bearings we need to change here. These 2 and this one. That one there is totally gone. It's not even just rough, it's actually jumping around inside. Left alone, that would soon destroy the motor. Just play it safe. Heat helps a lot. We got a made in China CW 629 and a Peer, P-E-E-R, made in China. At least they're a branded bearing at least. That one's a 6000. The big brand ones, but still, branded's better than nothing. You know they're really bad when they come on with just the word China written on them. They're the really bad ones. You get them on the Dewalts. These ones here, they're okay. 2 new bearings. Just give us a quick wee wipe. Still hot. Which one is which now? These are two very similar bearings. That's okay. That one's the armature, and this one's the drum. Pretty sure these have the same outside diameter just. The drum's going to be down here. That one was a lot tighter than I thought. I had to take it to the bearing press, even after all the heat. We'll give this one a little extra, just in case. Much better. More heat makes it easier. Right, let that cool because she's scalding hot. I'll just swap this one. That one is a 625. We'll use 625 bearing. Now this one is a metal shielded one and not a rubber seal. Mightn't be as good for dust, but it's a good quality bearing. It'll help it run faster. It's a proper NSK Japan one, so it should last no problem. Before I put it together, I'm just going to give it a quick blow out with the compressor. Now, stick her back together again now. I'm not going to put these pulleys on as tight because they just don't need it. And you can't put these on wrong either, because like I say, they're different threads. So that ain't going to go onto here. So there's no mixing them up. Oh, don't forget. This little steel packer as well, that has to go on first. Just watch your fingers when you're doing this because the blades will be sharp. Now, much better. That has to go on first. Then this can go on. It's actually just sitting there. There we go. Have to get the bearing lined up as well. This one popped out. Now, so don't forget this one. Don't forget it, but where does it go? It just goes there actually. Doesn't matter where I fit that one. The wee thing I'll just do is just a pea-sized amount of grease onto that needle bearing, just to make sure it stays nice and quiet. Just drops on. It's a very slack fit. Just take that out for now. Much better. Yeah, it must just be like that. Now for the main thing, the belt. That's your number there if you ever need one. Not expensive and easy to fit. Just literally rolls on. Suppose you may as well put these ones on too. These are screwed onto the aluminium or the plastic body, and these are going onto the aluminium frame, the shoe. And that should be her. One Milwaukee planer with a new belt and new bearings. Now, what it should run like. You should actually turn the blades this time and sound a lot smoother. Much better. That's her. Up and running again. The M18 BP. That's how you replace the belt and the bearings. Alright. Not making any promises on this one. Dewalt strimmer, or a line trimmer. This is the long one. She's got a bit of work anyway. It's not so bad. What is she? The DCM561 P1S, and clearly somebody's opened it. I would hope somebody's opened it anyway. It hasn't come like this. Well, not with my work. 2020 machine. It's clearly been worked. So somebody's opened it. I don't know what's the story on it, and I don't know if it can be fixed. So we'll see if it starts. You never know, maybe they opened the wrong end. Sometimes you need to plug a battery into this. There we go. Sometimes these can start starting and stopping. And that is because of the motor end, not the... There's another problem here actually. That can be through down here. See, the head's all dirty. If that gets too much grass clippings in these vents, it can start, it'll run, then after a few seconds or a minute it'll actually stop again because no air is getting into the motor to cool it down, and it very quickly overheats. But there's another problem with this, as you just see, she's not actually connecting together. Look, it's got a bunch of tape around here as well. There's a few problems with this, I think. Right. First thing is, does it run? That's the most important bit. Nothing. Not even a kick. And that's not connected. Right. We'll see what we can do with this. First of all, we'll see if we can actually fix it and get it running. We'll see what we was doing in here. Now, cordless strimmers in general, to be honest, I wouldn't be going for too many of the main brand ones. Some are good. This particular one isn't all that good. Not that they're not good, sorry, I'll rephrase that. They are a good job. They are powerful and do the work. If you have the batteries, why not? But they are expensive. This particular one costs about €300 for this year. You could buy a very decent petrol strimmer for that there. So I wouldn't be inclined to go for something like this. And I'll show you why exactly. Not much holding this on. Every one of them was loose. Big motor, big handle, but inside come out. No, still another screw in there. Inside there ain't much. That's all that's in them. Two wee switches. This is going to this switch. This is just a wee paddle. This is a safety, so this one can switch on. And you have a high and low speed selector here, which is just a little micro switch. That's all that's really in it. You've got a controller up on this side, hooked on to a battery terminal. It's just, it's a potted controller, don't get me wrong. Nice aluminium heat sinks in it, but it's just aluminium, or it's just a plastic body. There's no other aluminium on it. She's fairly basic, for the likes of a Dewalt. You'd see that in the likes of a cheap Chinese one anyway. Nothing special about it. Not sure what this is. But everything else, fairly basic. And there's the problem there, look. Look at where the switch is sitting. It's all cocked over to one side. I don't think that's a factory error. I think that's more user error. It's a very basic wee switch, look. These things wouldn't need to get wet at all. So that must need to sit there, look. There's a wee piece of plastic for it to actually rest against. She locks on there. Yeah, hopefully that's why she's not switching on, and hopefully there's no other things wrong with us. That's just in the wrong place. But yeah, cordless strimmers, there ain't much in them. All this handle area is just a controller and a switch and a few levers. That's it. The motor is down the other end. So there's not much in this you're actually buying. They're all fairly light duty. If you're buying a cordless one, to be honest, I would recommend go with the cheap and cheerful one. Unless you're really doing a lot of heavy work. If you're just general stuff around the garden, wee cordless strimmer, generic brand, will do a fine job. You can even get them that'll take main brand batteries, so you can still use your Dewalt batteries and a cheap and cheerful tool. That's what I would go for. If you're going for anything bigger, more powerful, like the double handle ones, go for petrol. Wouldn't bother with these things at all, because whenever you choke down the head on the motor, you're just more inclined to burn them out. Can I beat petrol for heavy duty work? Plus more reliable than these here things. I'm not going to screw any more on here. I'll give this thing a test. I think that did the trick. That's not really coming out again. Better just make sure that's working. Otherwise, if somebody sets it down wrong, I could switch on. Could you come out? What way does that sit on? She's not right anyway. These springs can sometimes be hard to figure out which way they go on. If you don't see which way they were on to begin with. That was fitted all the way around here, not connected onto anything. There's a wee channel here, look, so it has to take that leg. And this pin can be for nothing else. So I must have been right there. Now see, that's where it sits. Yeah. Springing back there anyway. So we'll go with that. Question is, why did this boy open it? Clearly must be something else wrong. Question is what? The connector is loose and she's spinning. Head not attached properly. But that would be no reason to actually open this here motor or the controller side, unless it was starting and stopping. So we'll just check the top of the motor, see if it's clogged. Just double check this. It's okay. Very awkward thing to work on these. Very hard to get it all on camera. Don't know what kind of cell tape that is. Floral design. Brown tape solves nothing. It's good for packaging only. If you want to tip something up, use duct tape. There's just no strength in this stuff. Just makes an awful mess. Alright, that's pin. Pin's missing. That's worse. things are generally just a little leaf spring and a ball. There's not really much to them. Lock that in again. Just get it to stay there. Let's see what we can do with this side. That one's gone completely. What to do there? Can't even put a bolt through it because the cable for the motor is going the whole way through. There ain't very much you can do here, apart from just a bit of rubber for them. Luckily there's 2 bolts in this, so we can open it, slacken it off, stick something under the middle and then clamp it down again. Hopefully that'll hold. It ain't the best of fixes, but there's not much you can do. Dewalt do sell this bracket, but there's no part number for it. It's on their site, show you that apart. When you click on it, it just says no number, so you can't actually get it. Do this side first, and the actual option of replacing that little pin isn't there because that's not a part at all, and you can't buy this little pin and replace it. The only thing you can do is replace the whole actual shaft. I have a piece of rubber, so electrical tape's going to have to do. So yeah, you can replace the pole to replace these here pins, but you have to replace the 2 halves, which is more expense because 2 halves together costs around 50 or 60 euro. So it ain't exactly a cheap repair just to replace the 2 pins. It's going to have to be a squeezing job to get this on. Hopefully this will actually fit. Wouldn't be a fan of electrical tape, but sometimes it's all you've got. Duct tape will probably be too thick for this job. Right, that's the 2. I have to put stuff up on this side as well, otherwise it's just going to be loose and it's going to slap around even more. So I have to pack this out, roughly about the same amount. This isn't too bad because it has the pin. The main one is down here. It's actually taking out a good bit of the slap there. Main thing is to make sure you have it lined up right. Make sure the actual handle up here is in line with the motor. You don't want to finish off the handle sitting one way and your motor sitting at a 90-degree angle. Make sure they're actually lined up, because without that pin you can just spin this around any other way. Screw doesn't even reach. There we go. Don't want to go too much. Don't want to strip them screws because I can't get that fit at all. There we go. That's actually a lot tighter. It's actually even tighter than what it was. Because even the handle on this thing has come loose. Luckily they can be tightened up though. Right, let's do 2 halves sorted out. She's locking in position again, and she starts. Let us see why she was open to begin with. Take it, it's just because of this. There's just 4 screws on the top of here. You can take off this top cover. It's only a cover on the motor. As you can see, the little gauze in there as well. They get packed out. Look. So there's how much air is getting through this thing. Squat. It's one to watch out for. If you have one and she's starting and stopping on you, she'll run for a minute or so, then stops. You have to let go of the trigger and pull it again to get it to start, and just keeps doing the same thing. Runs for a little while and stops. Clean that head. Sometimes you get them all packed out with air. See, this one has a little wire gauze. It used to be just an open filter, and the grass and hedge clippings would actually get inside of here and actually foul up on the motor. This one's a wee bit better, but you're going to have to keep that clean, because that there is just going to get bogged down or get packed out like that, caught in the gauze inside and choke it. It's not going to get onto the motor, but it's not going to let the air through. So just watch that one. Give it a wee blow out with the compressor once in a while to keep it clean. Much better. And see, that'll keep this thing up and running. It's all attached again. It can switch on again, and now it can breathe again. So it'll actually keep strumming. Now, give her a wee test out. She's a strong enough motor on her anyway. And actually tighten her up nicely as well. That's her. Head cleaned, shaft, bar reattached, and the switch put in properly. Next up is another common one. Not common because of a bad machine, common because of age. Well, this one, 2006, a 3620 Makita router. I can nearly guarantee what's wrong with this. Normally it's always bearings. Sometimes they burn out, or sometimes the housing can get cooked inside. Normally it's always bearings. Just wear and tear. These things last a lifetime. These are great wee routers. See them on all the time, but they're quite easy to fix. Yeah, definitely bearings. That sounds like a jet engine taking off. Change the bearings. Like I say, these are simple ones. They're not simple, but at least straightforward. Pull out the screws. You can take off the cover. That's if these bearings haven't totally destroyed the plastic housing inside. Because if they've cooked and overheated, they could have melted it. Yeah, I think we might have got away with it. All that out. Needs a little bit of a clean. Not too much. Inside this is just a motor and 2 bearings. Brushes transfer power, switch and lead. That's it. They're very simple and effective machines. Top one's nearly going, that one's totally gone. So that's time to change these two bearings, and that should get this thing running fine again. Brushes are actually fine too. Also just give it a wee bit of a blowout. It's mainly doing MDF work. That's the green moisture resistant MDF. Must be a kitchen man or something. Now get this nut off and press out the bearings. That's still the original bearing, made in Japan, Koyo. Nearly 20 years old. That's a 6003. And the same, Koyo again, 608. So I'll get two of them and stick them on here. 608. 603. That is a cracking wee machine. What do you reckon? Let me know in the comment section. How many people have one of these? And what did you think of them? I know I have one myself and I still use it. It's actually bolted underneath the wee router table. And you really couldn't beat it. Pleasure to use and a pleasure to fix. It's not often you can say that about any machine. And they weren't even all that expensive to buy. The last thing then is the very special nut and lever. Special nut because it has the little wings on the side. You can push it out and adjust it or fine tune it. Turn it around so you can adjust where it actually locks. That's where you want it to be. It's a lot easier when you're using the machine. That's her. See what she sounds like now. So much better. Such an improvement for just 2 bearings. This boy will easily get another 20 years of life out of this thing now, if he looks after it. Now, last up for today is a wee Makita trimmer. This one, I'm either going to fix it or destroy it, because it's not much good for anything else. This here is just a wee last ditch attempt to fix this thing up. This actually works. The problem is the collet cone. I've had this thing in before and I've looked at it and I couldn't get the cone out, and to get it out it was going to cause damage, which was going to cost about €100, and it just wasn't worth doing. Because the router's still working, he could easily just keep using it the way it is, but he began to pick it up there and he says no, the cone is actually jammed down as well, so we can't actually get a 1/4 inch bit onto this. I thought he wanted to change it over to a different size, but he can't actually use it at all. That there's completely jammed in, can't get anything inside of it, so it's completely useless anyway the way it is. So we're either going to fix it or rake it to get this here up and running again, and we have to get this cone out. I've tried beating, prying, sticking stuff onto it, can't hook anything underneath. What's happened is she's worn on here, look, and that there piece here is actually part of the collet cone. So somehow he's actually rounded over the cone, and it's rounded over and now will not come out. So the only way to try and get this thing out now is to try and beat it out from this side, but to do that we'll take the armature out. I've wasted enough time on it, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. Now, do that with a nut, we don't want to drive that on any further. Just want to get a gap there. These should come out fairly easy. Come out a lot better than the Dewalt ones. There's no way to get anything down on through the center, I don't think. Yeah, that's part of the whole shaft. So we're just going to have to see if we can drill a little bit into here and then maybe tap it out. Nah. Get a little bit of nylon on here. Need to get myself some actual jaw protectors. That'll not budge. Right, that's just not coming out. I've beat on it, I'm knocking it, can't get anything to the inside of it. She's just not shifting. So when all else fails, get the grinder. See if I can grind off the shoulder. Maybe there's just something pressing on, holding it on. If I can grind the bit pressing away, maybe it might come out. So I've done 2. Left that on there now. Tried the other side. Still, just will not budge. It's getting it, but it just will not come out the full way. These just do not have enough of an angle. They're just bending the tip. Just cannot get it on straight enough. I'm not bottoming out the nut either. I'm only putting this on a little bit. As you see, I'm just destroying tools. I'll give it another wee tap. May as well destroy these 2 and see it happens. Plenty of space there. That's it the whole way in. So I should be able to beat that on out yet. That's the hole. That should be the edge. That felt like it did something. Felt like nothing. I'm missing it. This is just a handling. Oh, careful I don't get the thread. Son of a... I mean, come on. This is just point blank refusing to move. Have you ever seen anything as bad as that? I think this is just going to have to be left. Right, forget about this. There's only one more thing I can do, and that's the welder. Tape up the threads, hope I don't damage them. There's one wee spot of metal from the welder. Even with a flux, if it burns that thread at all, it's basically destroyed. This is just infuriating because this here is loose. You can turn it by hand, it's wobbling back and forth, but it just will not come out. Right, it's either this or nothing. Good boys with the tool here. Noel welded this on for me. It would focus. See, the thread might be gone anyway now, but we're going to see if we can get it out. She's free enough. Have you ever seen anything as tight? Don't want this flying off either and breaking the fan on me. There we go. At last. That took a colossal amount of work. Just for that. What in the hell happened to it now? Unless it was the wrong cone fitted or something. How much damage is done now? Just still roasting hot here. I wonder if we did get away with it. This depends if the shaft is even any good. That old collet cone could have caused more damage than I realised. The inside could be completely destroyed. I'm going to have to grind this back now as well. We use a belt sander for that. Tidy up that surface so we can get the bearing back on. I still don't even know what caused that. I'll see if we can get her running again now. And I think we might be getting away with this. Threads is okay. I have another collet. This one doesn't fit on. Exact same size, this second hand mind you. But it is the right size, exact same one. So I think it is actually true with the way this was dented on. I think that there has been crushed a little bit. These here are just under 10mm. Bit doesn't fit on, but a 9.5 does go on. Trying to do this by hand because I don't want to put it in the vise for this. It's still tight. The old sandpaper trick. Sandpaper and a squirt of WD. Still just isn't right. I just have to go with the 10mm. Right, 10mm was just too big, so I've actually went with an imperial bit here. Not sure what size it is, but it works out in millimeters as a 9.3. A 9.5 works out about 9.2 or just over. That just took a nibble and no more. And look at that. It goes in. Nice one. So we might be able to save this yet. Now, I just have to tidy up all the damage that I've actually caused. So he's not going back into that bearing like that. I think we should get away with this though. Rub this with the belt sander, take off the wee dimples. That'll still hold on the rest. Right, I'm not going to say it's a good job, but it might do the job. Just give us a quick blow and we'll put it back together again and see if it works. It'll have to go on here. Hopefully it still actually goes on. Sure it will. Doesn't feel too bad. Might be tight, but it will go on. This, in fairness, is probably not even worth it because I've spent way too long on this thing. Sometimes things can be worth fixing, but they're not worth the labour, and they can be not worth the risk. I could have a lot of time invested in it, and it still mightn't work right. Or I could have destroyed the armature, wasted all the time. So for somebody you didn't know, you probably mightn't bother. But because we actually know this customer, we are just going to try and fix it for him. You just have to judge them as they come in. Got a wee tap to make sure the shaft comes all the way up onto the bearing. And she might work. One collet, one nut. I'll not use the spanner again, just use the lock pin. She locks and she tightens. Does she work? Nice one. One very awkward Makita cordless trimmer repaired. One jammed up collet nut or collet cone removed from the spindle on the armature. That was just an absolute handling to get out. Eventually had to weld on a steel shaft and beat it out. Surprised that one could actually be saved. Second time lucky. First time I just assumed it could still take a 1/4 inch bit, but he told me they no longer fit it on. So it had to either be taken out or thrown out. So we may as well just keep going and just either wreck her or fix it. Luckily this time we were able to fix it. That's her. Ready for work again. Anyway folks, that's it. That's all for today. We'll finish up on that one. As always folks, hope you're enjoying the tool repair videos. If you're liking them, want me to keep posting them, make sure to hit that like button. If you want to help out the channel, hit that subscribe button there too. Anyway folks, till next time, chat to you later.